As we continue our Lenten reflections on the second Saturday of Lent, I'd like to begin by giving a special mention to one of our beloved Passionist saints, Saint Gabriel, the Sorrowful Virgin, whose feast day we celebrate today on February 27th. I have a first-class relic of Saint Gabriel here, and we know that among our Passionist saints, Saint Gabriel was outstanding for his just profound love for Our Lady, and in particular, Our Lady under the title of Our Lady of Sorrows. So we just ask his intercession for us and his presence with us today as we continue our reflections on Our Lady and ponder the flight into Egypt. So first we can recall the story of the flight into Egypt from the Gospel of Matthew. We know that after the three magi came to adore Christ and to bring their gifts, an angel appeared to Joseph in a dream and told him he had to take Mary and Jesus and flee into Egypt because Herod the wicked king was going to search for Jesus to destroy him. We can just ponder today just the profound sorrow that must have been for Our Lady's heart. The pain of her heart and her profound fear as her little infant son is threatened with death at the hands of Herod. We can think of the hardships of leaving her family and her homeland, any possessions they might have had there, and going to a foreign land, a land that they didn't know, where they didn't know anyone. The hardships of the travel and the hardships of leaving behind. We can think of her sorrow at the death of the Holy Innocents, all those little children who died at the hands of Herod's men as they searched for Jesus. And I think above all, what strikes me is the pain of Our Lady at the rejection of her son. Mary knew and loved her son more than anyone. She knew that her child was the Son of God, given out of God's love for the world. She was the first one to truly know the truth of that statement that John gives us, that God so loved the world that he gave his only son who was her son, Jesus. And in this mystery, she sees in such a striking way the world's rejection of her son. And we know that rejection will continue until her son dies on the cross. And we think of the profound pain that was for Our Lady in this moment. But we also know that in the midst of this terrifying trial, the pain and the sorrow and the terror of this event, that she also was a woman of hope and joy. She trusted that this event, as hard as it was a part of God's plan. She trusted and hoped in God. Interestingly, as I reflect on this sorrow, I'm also struck by the real joy that I think Our Lady had as she fled into the desert. Certainly there was fear and there was sorrow, but there was also joy in her heart. And why is that? I think because Mary's heart was totally God's. Her heart was so pure, so beautiful, so totally God's. As she leaves everything and she's in the desert with literally nothing but Joseph and Jesus, she's not despondent, but she has a certain joy because she has her treasure. Jesus is always with her. This sorrow the first two sorrows of Our Lady are unique in that Mary truly is holding her son in her arms. And what a joy and a consolation that was for her, because Jesus was her all. She left everything, but she still had Jesus, who was everything for her. And I think that's such a lesson for us during this season of Lent, because during Lent, we're called to, in a sense, leave everything spiritually and go into the desert with Christ. And during Lent, we give up things for Lent, right? And when we do that, what we're doing is we're trying to let go of those things in our lives, those things in our hearts that distract us from Christ. And we're called to let go of those things so that we can truly make him our all. And we know that there's a certain sacrifice, there's a certain sorrow in that letting go, but that there's also a joy that comes from that when we truly focus and center our hearts on Christ. So during this season of Lent, as we reflect on this mystery, we can ask Our Lady and Saint Joseph to pray for us, that we can let go of everything as they did, and we can spiritually go into the desert with Christ and truly find our joy in him, truly give him the first place in our hearts, truly love him with our whole heart so that we can love everyone with a love like his.